Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Shift Gears, connecting traditional and digital marketing. Myself and Steve are here live with you. So, hello, Steve.
Hello, Eddie. How are you
All
doing?
right, all right, doing good, man, doing good.
Good.
So today is gonna be a cool day. This is definitely our first pilot. Is that what they call it now? Pilot?
Yeah, I think a pilot episode. That sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah. So, hey, have you so since this is a pilot,
Uh-huh.
I wanted to ask you something. Have
Okay.
you heard of living a year in 12 weeks?
No, no, I haven't. Live a year in 12 weeks.
A year in 12 weeks. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You're like probably thinking, "Wait, what?"
That'd be interesting.
That should be interesting. So, there's actually, and I'm actually going to look it up because I should have done that before the podcast. This is how prepared I am. But basically, there is a book out there that talks about how we can actually do way more in a very small time, very short
Okay.
amount of time, and that studies have shown that the even in the workplace people actually do go for 8 hours. They actually only work between 2 to 3 hours a day.
Right.
So it's like
Yeah, I
wasted
have heard
time.
that statistic
You
before. Yeah.
have, right.
Oh yeah.
So the whole concept of that is basically that's what that book is all about. So let me
Okay.
type it in: a year in 12 weeks. And the reason why I'm asking you this question is because obviously, being that we are starting this podcast, I
Hmm.
think it'll be a good idea for viewers to understand that no matter what you do with your business, we should always have a plan, and we should always think about the future ahead, the vision ahead,
Right.
and then create some goals, right? But
Yep.
it doesn't take a whole New Year's resolution type of goals. It can take as little as 12 weeks. So let
Okay.
me see. It's by Michael Lennington. Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington wrote the book, The 12-Week Year.
All right.
Uh, 12 weeks in a year. 12 weeks in a year. Yeah, that's it. You can find that in Amazon. They have that book right there.
Okay.
And so you guys should go check it out. And again, it just type in either Brian P. Moran, Moran, uh, or Michael Lennington, the 12-week year. That's what the title of the book is, the 12-year week.
Or the
That's,
12-week
I mean, I'm
year.
sorry, the 12-week year. That's crazy, right? The 12
Yeah.
week year.
So
So
12 weeks is basically what, 3 months,
that's right.
right?
That's right.
Okay.
So you've heard of 90 days
Uh-huh.
90-day goals,
Uh-huh.
right? You also heard of the 21 days that you can build a habit in 21 days,
Exactly.
right? Okay. Well, instead of saying 90 days, this guy's here based on stacks, based on studies that they've done, and based on um, the relationships that they have and the interviews that they've done, is that they realize that our brain has has been misled to believe that it actually does take a very long time to reach goals.
Okay.
Um, when we can go to the foundation, right? The year, basically everybody, New Year's come and right, New Year's resolution.
Yeah, you try to have a long-term goal or something you want to get done this year.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And what happens, right? A year passes by and they're like, "Oh, I missed
Oh,
it."
yep, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. Well, the situation there, besides the fact that that was just a wish. When people say New Year's resolution, it's just a wish.
Hmm.
But for
Right.
those people, you probably have done this, that we do actually write things down and we start to think about what we're going to do in this year. What
Hmm.
happens is that we're sending a signal to our brain, and subconsciously, our
Hmm.
brain believes that we have plenty of time.
Yeah, we think, well, I'll get it done this year, And so then you think, well, I got
Mm-hmm.
all this time coming that
Mm-hmm.
I can get this stuff done. But we just talked about this before we started the podcast today, that it's September already.
Can you believe it?
And
We're
so yeah,
finishing up the third
we're
quarter of the year already.
yeah, we're
That's
way into it.
crazy. Way into it, right? So
So
you're
yeah.
right. And so that's the whole concept. I think this the 12 week year, it's a good book to read, it's a good idea to do. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to overwhelm yourself in 2 weeks, but the
Mhm.
concept is that you will do more when you're limited, your amount of time is
Yeah.
limited.
Well, I've noticed that myself. Like if I take a new client on or new job, I ask them, is there a time frame or a deadline you need this job by?
Mm-hmm.
And if they tell me I need it by this weekend
Mm-hmm.
or I need it within 2 weeks, then I know I need to get it done within that amount of time. And I tend to get things done quicker that way. But if I
Right.
ask them, when do you need this job done? And they say, oh, whenever you get to it, then okay,
Mm.
I'll get to it when I get to it. And it just drags on and on because I think in my head I got all this time to get it done, and so there's no pressure. It feels like there's no pressure, and
That's
so
it.
I drag my feet. And apparently I'm not the only person that does that, huh?
Mm-mm. No, no, you're not, because so that's exactly the concept that
Okay,
that this
that's
book
interesting.
yeah, this book really teaches. That same what you just said is exactly right. Is that when you're giving a deadline,
Hmm.
subconsciously you are on a deadline.
Yeah,
But then when, like you just said it, when they tell you, oh, whenever you have time, that's what happens. Is the
yeah.
whenever
I'll
never
find something
happens.
else to take up that
Right.
time
Right.
rather than get the job done.
And then
That's
haven't you find yourself stressing out because now
oh
it's
my,
actually due?
yeah. Yeah, or my customer will call me and say, "Where's my job? Why isn't it done?" It's like, "Oh, I didn't think it was there was any time frame on it."
There you
And
go.
yeah, so my customers might have a time frame when they want something, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily pass
Mm-hmm.
that on to me. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
I I need to, or people need to get in gear and realize when you have
yeah.
something that needs done, just get it done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even if your goal is for a year,
Mm-hmm.
get it done in 12 weeks
12
or
weeks.
set
Yeah.
set that. Okay,
So
that makes
so
sense.
so
Yeah.
here's the concept. This is something again that, man, it's really easy to understand. Um, and especially for me, when I first read the book, it was a year ago when I read the book, and I
Mhm.
attempted to do it. There was really, I didn't follow through. I just didn't follow through, and I thought about the 12 weeks, but it wasn't as deep as I just recently did that, especially
Mhm.
because we're going to do this podcast too. And so here's how you look at it. So 12 weeks, each week represents a year. I mean, excuse me, a month. Okay.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
12 months right there. So subconsciously you're saying weeks because you want to understand that you really only have 12 weeks. So if for us, if we get that concept, the 12 weeks represents a whole year. So what would you do if you knew you only have 12 weeks to live, right?
Okay, yeah.
12 weeks,
It would really
so
set your priorities straight, wouldn't it?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And another thing that you can then look at is say, okay, so if each week represents a month, then basically each day represents a week,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so, even if you keep cutting it down, each hour represents a day,
Mhm.
right? I mean, so how much more would you do in one whole hour, right? So, and again, it's all psychologically, right? It's all a mindset.
It's
Um,
just yeah, retraining your brain
yeah,
to
yeah,
to
it's just
think more
retraining.
short term instead of long term.
Exactly. So,
Okay.
so what you do is, if you're wanting to accomplish a certain amount of things through the year,
Mhm.
the book recommends this. And as a matter of fact, Joey, which hopefully we'll have in our program too, he is an expert at getting clear about your mission, your vision, in your business. And we'll soon get connected with him. And again, we'll see if we can get him here on our podcast. But he talks about doing, looking at the whole year in quarters, right?
Okay.
So each quarter you choose, like we just said, we are in the end of September now. This is the third quarter ending. Fourth quarter is coming up, October, November, December.
Yes.
But here is a concept that he talks about. He says, when you write your goals, and like right now, we are September 8th. Well, you want to write a 12-week goal, which represents a quarter, right? One quarter.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He says, he recommends that we don't start our 12-week goal, written down goal, until the quarter that you're about to go into. Because if we are already here in September, this is done. And he recommends that
at the end of the last 12-week
yeah,
year period.
Exactly. And he recommends that because it is much easier to keep track, especially if you have clients, you know, that you understand that basically every business person out there understand that there's 4 quarters in a year, you know, so it keeps it easy. So, but what do? Well, I mean, we're still 3 weeks before the new quarter comes in. What do? Well, you start working on your goals. You start doing something, but your specific 12-week program starts every quarter.
Okay.
Make sense? So that's how it starts. That's how it goes. And one of the things you've heard of writing visions, right? Like a vision or like what's your 5 years from now? Where would you be? And
like a vision board,
right? Writing that stuff. That was another thing that I have problems with because again, my brain doesn't work as some people. I don't. It's hard for me to write down what I visualize, right?
Okay.
And it goes very fast. So for me to sit down and write things, I almost felt that I had to write, okay, I will have, a vacation. Number 2, I will have, I don't know, a new wardrobe. Number 3, I will buy my wife a diamond ring. Number 4, I will have, and it's like list. And I thought, I always used to think, man, that's so dry. And then I used to hear of Tony Robbins. You heard Tony Robbins, right?
I've heard of him. I haven't followed his stuff too much.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. You got to remind me. I got to share with you some stuff that I have from him. But one of the major things that he goes through his program, his 90-day personal power program, he has a full system on how to actually write goals. And one of the things that he talks about is you got to make them real. I'm like, man, how real can that be? I mean, this is what I want, A, B, C. So point is, I really never got it until recently. Okay. And so here is the trick to that. So now that you know that you're writing goals for 12 weeks, now that you know that you can use each quarter of the year as your 12-week base, and now that you know that you're going to have to push yourself much more than what you think you can do, because they not only have to be realistic goals, but they have to push you to think, am I going to really do this? But doable, right? All right, so now that you know that, what about this vision thing? What's going to drive you, right? So the way that I would recommend that if you're stuck, if you were stuck like me, I don't know if most people have that problem, but if you are, that you want to now look ahead and write what just happened. It's easy for me to sit down tonight and write down what I'm grateful for because I just experienced many things to be grateful for.
Gotcha.
It's harder for me to be early in the morning having breakfast with my family and write down something that I'm grateful for, because then I'm kind of like just winging it. Right?
Yeah. It's just kind of hopeful. I hope.
Right. It's like, I'm grateful for you girls. Right. But I mean, which is true, but it becomes more real at the end of my day. Like, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful that this happened, that happened, this,
Yeah, you can reflect back and you have all the details and the emotions that go with it, the feelings.
There you go. Reflect. That's the right word. Thank you, Steve. That's why Steve is here. But so what you do is you want to reflect back to the life that you want to live. No,
Okay.
it's kind of weird because how
So
do you want
kind of put yourself, 12
ahead?
weeks ahead and think back of how your life should have, or you would like your life to have happened
Exactly.
in the past 12
And
weeks.
write it as a story. You don't write it as bullet points.
Okay.
So an example is, you look ahead and if you're ahead, sitting down, writing down your vision,
Mm-hmm.
then you're writing down things that just happened to you.
Right.
The things that just happened are the things that you are going to focus to accomplish.
Yeah. Those are the things that you're actually going to put in place, but then you're imagining
That you already lived
how it's
it.
going to affect you once it's all
Right.
said
And
and
you
done.
already lived it,
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing. So
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 that's kind of how I think. I don't write things down, but
mhm,
I imagine in my head 6 months from now, a year from now,
mhm,
a, I'll be specific here, a building that I want to buy
mhm,
and how I'm going to design the inside of that building, how it's all going to be laid out and how my
mhm.
traffic flow is going to be for customers. And
There
I
you
have
go.
that all figured out in my head.
Mhm.
I don't own the building. I don't.
There you go. There you
But
go.
I know, I think it's going to happen. But
Yeah.
if it does happen, I'm going to, I already have a plan in place.
There you go. And
And
so, but then your story that you're writing down is going to be to the point where you're saying this, the building in this, it's 12 weeks ago. I thought
Mhm.
about this building, and this building now is here. I am so grateful that this is here, is in such and such location. And you can just tell my customers coming by and enjoying the pleasant view of the inside and the
Mhm.
environment. One of the customers just basically said how awesome this new building is. And so you see what I'm saying? So you start
Yeah.
writing as if already
And it
happened.
makes it real instead of
Exactly.
just a dream. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right. What
That makes sense.
it's what the Bible talks about all the time, right? As
Mhm.
though it already happened, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. So that's the whole thing. And so I don't know why I even missed that. Of course, sometimes we can get too spiritual and and not put it into practice. But yeah,
Well, everything's spiritual. You can't get too.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So
It's part of our
so
life.
it's part of life. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, 12 weeks. So how about that? That's a pretty
Okay.
cool deal, right?
So are we gonna continue developing this 12-week idea as we go through these podcasts and learn
Yeah,
a little bit more
yeah,
each
exactly,
time? Okay,
exactly.
good. Because
So
that's interesting because I've never heard of that concept.
right,
I've always heard of, short-term goals and long-term goals and
exactly.
all that kind of stuff, but it's always been in the time frame of, years,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always been abstract. It's not really,
Right.
it's just always just hopeful and, kind of dreamy, and it may or may not
Yeah.
happen. But if you set those short-term goals
Mm-hmm.
in 12 weeks, you can I can see how you could get a lot more accomplished because you
Yeah.
feel like, okay, I got a time frame I need to fit this into.
I know. I
But
know. So
yeah.
the coolest thing here for us in the upcoming weeks is that 12 weeks from now we're going to be looking back at our starting point today,
Uh-huh.
and we're going to also cover the same segment as we're talking about this 12 weeks
Okay.
in a year,
And we'll
12
see
weeks from
how
now.
far we come. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And so that's the whole idea, man. So yeah, it's we got to think 12 weeks. We got to understand what we want, and
Hmm.
but also start thinking about that. And we don't have much time. It's only 12 weeks.
Yeah, we better get busy, huh?
I mean, the year will be over by December 31st. That's our
Uh-huh.
12-week mark. So
Right. And another great thing about that is the only pressure that's put on us is what we put on ourselves.
yeah.
No one else is telling us to do
Mm-mm.
this. I
Mm-mm.
mean, we want to do this to help other people, but
Mm-hmm.
it's also going to help us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like a boss is telling us you got to get this done in 12
Right.
weeks. This is what we've decided to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can do it however we want to do it, or
That's
however
right.
the doors of opportunity present themselves.
Hmm.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we
So
do.
that's the exciting part to me, because we
I
don't really
know.
know
I know, I
what's
know. That is the
involved.
cool thing, though, right? And so that's the whole idea: is push yourself to not the limit, but to your full potential. And sometimes your full potential becomes your norm, and then the next 12
Yeah.
weeks you have to push further.
Hmm.
It's really how much you want to accomplish. That's really all
Yeah.
about, you know.
And then I think about other people on the outside looking in. It's
Hmm.
like, wow, those guys are really driven, and they're
Yeah,
going and busy, and they're doing their thing,
yeah.
and from the outside it looks like we're just go 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 go, but
Hmm.
we're I am anyway, learning as I go.
Hmm. Oh,
I don't know
we're definitely going to
all
learn
this
as we go.
yeah. And so but I'm excited to see how things turn out in the next
Yeah.
12 weeks, or
Yes. So
however.
it's really
Maybe
cool.
it'll be 6 weeks. Can I put some extra pressure on us? No.
Oh, great. How about this? How
How about,
about in 6 weeks we review what has happened so far?
there you go.
Right? Halfway point, right? We're going to see, okay, are we going in the right direction or what?
Mm,
Right?
absolutely.
There
Yeah.
you go.
And we take notes, and we share notes back and forth with each
Hmm.
other, and we
Yeah.
have a basic guideline.
Yep.
But yeah, to go back and see, are we hitting all the high points, stuff we need to
Hmm.
be doing.
Hmm.
And
So
I
most
think we'll be
definitely, this
we
is
can be
this is gonna be this is gonna be very, very cool. Definitely, it's all about shifting gears,
hmm
because man, even for this, we need to shift our gears to understand that time is of an essence.
hmm
You whatever it is that you want to accomplish in your business, whatever it is that you feel there's something in you that you need to do, time is not it's not something that you have really. You and I, we
right,
do not have time. It's only
right,
really a gift every single day that we have to take advantage of. So
exactly.
we got to push
Everybody
it.
has the same amount of time. Everyone has
Yeah,
24 hours in a day.
yeah,
It seems like some people really get a lot done in life,
exactly,
and some
because
people
they're in
don't.
a 12-week
That's what
program.
we're going to discover, the difference.
Hmm.
I think that's part of our thing.
Part of their
Just
thing, that's
figuring
right.
out what works and what doesn't, huh?
Awesome, man. Well, listen, amazing thing. Congratulations, Steve, on your first pilot podcast.
Oh, thank you. And you too.
Thanks. And we are going to come to you here live as much as we can. But most important, you're going to be able to follow us on your podcast app, also
Hmm.
here live through YouTube. And also, you can come back and but watch the recordings of our previous podcasts. So we appreciate you all watching this, and definitely, you know what to do. If you like it, like it. Give us a thumbs up. If you hate it, don't do nothing. Don't hurt my feelings. Okay, just leave quietly. And definitely subscribe, because we will be bringing to you all some amazing content that will help you grow your business in our uncertain times, especially for business owners, on how you can actually combine your traditional marketing with digital marketing and many other things that are available out there. So, yeah, man. So I guess, Steve, till next week, right?
Yeah, I think we're ready to sign out. And yeah, I just want to encourage everyone to uh, you know subscribe and follow what we're doing, and go along on this journey with us.
Absolutely. It's going to be a journey. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks again, and talk to you soon.
See you guys.